Okay, good morning, Year 5. So, today we're moving on to a new unit, a new topic within maths, and we're going to be looking at fractions. Now, don't panic, okay? Lots of people, as soon as I say the word fractions, lots of shocked looks on their faces, a little bit of panic, okay? Do not worry, we're going to start right back, nice and simple, and then build up so that everybody has got a really clear idea of what we're doing. Fractions was something that you missed a bit of last year, so we'll make sure that we'll fill all of those gaps, okay? And today, I want you to just have a go, okay? And then tomorrow in our live lesson, we'll pick up anything that comes out from today and we'll fill those gaps, okay? So, what is a fraction? What do fractions show? Okay. So a fraction is a part of a whole, essentially. Okay, so a part of a whole could be a number or an object, and they have to be split into equal parts. Okay, so fractions are about splitting things into equal amounts, equal parts. Okay, so really close link between fractions and division, which we've just been looking at. So it's a really, really great way to think about it. Now, a fraction is set out like this, okay? And there's a name for each of these numbers within the fraction, okay? So we would say this as 3/10, okay? 3/10. And the top number in a fraction, okay, is always called the numerator. Okay, and we'll have a look at what that means in a second. So the numerator is the top number, and denominator is the bottom number. And that's really important for you to remember. So it will definitely be worth in your book, okay, having this written out as an example really clearly at the top of your page so that you can come back to it and that you can use it if you need it. Now, the denominator in a fraction shows us how many parts the whole is split into. Okay, and we're going to change this to make it how many equal parts, and that equal, okay, is an absolutely key word. So that's really, really important. So the denominator is how many equal parts the whole is split into. So if we have a look at this example here, okay, there is the whole. We've got a whole shape, and it's split into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, okay? So our denominator for any fraction that we're going to be using here is going to be 4, okay? If I change that, and let's say I split this equally in half, okay, that might not be quite to scale, we would now be looking at our denominator being eighths. Okay, so the denominator is the amount that the whole shape is split into, and we can work that out by just counting the parts, okay, that it is split into. So that's really, really important for you to remember, okay, really important. Now let's have a look back at the numerator then. Now the numerator tells us how many of the parts we're looking at. So out of the 10, how many are we interested in? So let's have a look at our example here. Remember, we've got our denominator, okay, was how many parts there are. So there are 8 parts. Now if I shaded three of those parts, I would say that 3/8 were shaded. Okay, so we're looking at 3 because I've asked you how many were shaded. So 3 out of 8. Okay, 3 out of the 8. So there are 8 altogether, and 3 of them are shaded. If I asked you how many were not shaded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, we're still talking about eighths because we're still split into 8 parts, but this time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, okay, are not shaded. So 5 are not shaded, 3 are shaded. So the numerator tells us how many parts we're looking at. And the denominator, how many equal parts the whole is split into. Please can you make sure this is in your book or on your work somewhere today, because that's really important. Now let's have a look at here. You're going to have some shapes today to shade or recognise the fractions. Now this one, I know that the denominator is telling me that there are 4 parts. Now if I need to shade in 1 quarter, okay, so 1 out of the 4. So I would shade in this one here, okay, and that is 1 out of the 4 shaded. This time the denominator is telling me that there are 3 parts, okay. We're interested in 2 of those parts this time. So it might be these 2 here. What I'm going to be interested in this time. Okay, and you'll be able to do that much more neatly. So you'll be able to shade yours properly. Okay, it's very hard to do that on here. So I now have got 2 of the thirds. Okay, 2 thirds. There are 3 altogether, which the denominator tells me, and the numerator tells me I need to shade 2. So that's really important. You're going to have some that look like this. Okay, some where you've got to shade in the parts. Okay, and some where it's given for you and you're going to have to write the fraction. So the first thing you can do is work out the denominator, can't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 8 here. Okay, and how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 out of the 8. Now if you're feeling really confident, okay, you might recognise that actually 4 out of 8 is the same as a half. So you might write a half in there. If you're not sure about that, just leave, don't worry, 4, 8 is fine, okay? So you might recognise that a half, or 1 in every 2, is shaded, okay? This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? We're talking about eighths, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is shaded, okay? So that is representing the same fraction there. Now this one is slightly different. Here, you can see the denominator is 10. So what you need to imagine is that this is, so that 6 in every 10 are shaded. So actually here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got this twice, okay? So 6 in that top 10 will be shaded, okay? And then in the next 10, 6 will be shaded again, okay? So if there are more, okay, it will always be a multiple of this denominator. So there's 10 there, and then there's another 10 there. If we look at here, 2 sixths, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So of this 6, okay, of that 6 up here, 2 of them are going to be shaded. Of this 6 in here, 2 of them are going to be shaded. And of this 6 down here, 2 of them are going to be shaded, okay? So if there are more, you can split the shape. If it makes it easier for you, split the shape into the amount. So here, we know we're looking for 6's, so I've split it into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And 2 of those are going to be shaded. Then I go on to the next one. There's 6 more, 2 of those are shaded. There's 6 more, 2 of those are shaded. So I'll put this on as a worksheet today. Okay, so you've got these 2 to have a look at. Shade on the top ones and write the fractions on the bottom ones, and then there is an extension for you to have a look at if you're feeling confident. Okay, if you're not, don't worry about the extension, leave the extension. Which representations of 4/5 are incorrect? So which of these, okay, do not show? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different representations, okay? Which of them don't show 4/5. Okay, and explain how you know. So, have a go today. We'll discuss it on on Zoom tomorrow. But be really confident. Rewatch the video. Have a look. Okay, and just if you come out of today knowing what a fraction is and really clear about that denominator telling us how many equal parts, and the numerator how many that we're interested in or that we're looking at, that will be great.